We arrived in the Ebro Valley in Spain early in the morning. This trip was not only to enjoy nature, but also with the specific goal of hunting wild boar. The locals told us that at the end of the valley there was a large herd of wild boar living among the dense forest and thorn bushes. They were especially aggressive during mating season and were also very difficult to approach. More importantly, the wild boars caused great damage to the farmers in the area. Therefore, we knew that something had to be done to control these wild boars. Henry and I were assigned to lie in ambush on the mountainside above the valley. We searched for boar tracks and identified the areas they frequented. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound up ahead, and a huge boar appeared. It seemed that this wild boar was not afraid at all. It stopped and watched us, but had no intention of running away. Only when we opened fire did it panic and run away, not letting the wild boar escape. We opened fire and decisively brought it down. Wild boars in the wild mountains are very aggressive. They can attack and seriously injure us if we don't hit their weak points. It's best to shoot them in the head or lungs to kill them with just one shot. In the valley, there are still houses of the community in the area. It is a village that is often disturbed by wild boars, so the residents here do not like this animal very much. They allow hunters to come to their area to hunt animals. It is undeniable that wild boars are very intelligent. They can sense the scent of hunters in the air. Therefore, we often move against the wind to prevent wild boars from detecting us. A huge wild boar appeared. When it discovered us, it tried to run away, but failed. A fatal shot killed it instantly. Seeing the giant pig fall, my emotions surged. Hunting wild boar in the Ebro is not an easy task because the terrain in this area is quite complex. Deep valleys are interspersed with high mountains and dense forests. If you do not understand the terrain here, you will easily lose your way. You see, the wild boars could hide under the rocks, blocking our view. Without the hunting dogs, it would have taken a lot of time and effort to find them. This herd of wild boars was trying to move up the cliff to escape, but this was our chance to kill them. The wild boars were hit and fell into the ravine. The other boars escaped and sneaked into the bushes. Every hunt in the Ebro Valley is dramatic and challenging, but if you respect nature and your prey, you will find meaning in every hunt. We continued to ambush the wild boars on the mountainside. They were showing signs of moving down the valley to drink water and forage. When the herd of wild boars appeared, Henry and I quickly grabbed our guns and fired. A loud bang tore through the silence, and the leader of the wild boars was shot down instantly. The others ran into the bushes. We continued to aim and shoot to kill a few more wild boars. There was a giant wild boar in the herd that ran away. I signaled to the other teammates to be ready if the wild boar appeared. Henry and I also chased and joined the ranks to surround this giant wild boar. When it appeared, a series of gunshots rang out. However, the wild boar still ran into the bushes to escape. Finally, we tracked down and finished off the wild boar on the spot. Spectacular chases or the loud gunshots are not sport hunting, but a major sweep to prevent wild boar from breeding and overpopulating. It was a memorable autumn day in Bulgaria where I killed dozens of wild boars to protect the farmer's farm. We started our journey early in the morning, accompanied by experienced local hunters. I held the semi-automatic gun firmly and focused on observing the surroundings. Soon, the barking of dogs echoed throughout the area. We knew that the dogs had found their target. Georgie, an experienced hunter, signaled us to be alert. Very quickly, a giant wild boar appeared. It rushed straight towards us with the intention of attacking, but Georgie quickly shot it down. Wow, you see, we've just started the hunt and we're already facing such a stimulating situation. The dogs continued to hunt down the wild boar, and soon another giant wild boar was found. It was also quickly shot down to ensure the safety of the whole team. The dogs did a great job of tracking down a herd of dozens of wild boars. We were also surprised by how many wild boars suddenly appeared. We quickly raised our guns and aimed at the herd of pigs. Gunshots rang out continuously, tearing the quiet atmosphere apart. Ivan destroyed the largest pig. The rest escaped into the hills, and redirected the dogs to chase the boar's trail. The wild boar hunting journey is carried out from the farmers' farms to the wild hills next door, which is where the wild boars take shelter and reproduce vigorously. Although the herd of wild boars had moved quite a distance, we still managed to shoot and kill one wild boar. To kill wild boars accurately, we use specialized scopes that can kill wild boars at a distance of 500 m. If you are a professional hunter or a farmer controlling wild boars, you cannot do without these types of equipment. I saw it. Another wild boar appeared. Ivan whispered next to me. He signaled me to aim, but the shot was inaccurate and the boar escaped. It's okay, buddy. Missing is a common thing for any shooter, Ivan comforted me. Indeed. In hunting, missing shots is something that everyone encounters, even the most experienced hunters. Just half an hour later, the dogs continued to drive another wild boar into the area where we had ambushed. This time I was determined to shoot this wild boar. Awesome, Ivan exclaimed after I shot down this wild boar. He seemed even more excited than I was. He is a great friend. I really appreciate it. In the afternoon, we continued further south, where the terrain was low and hilly with dense undergrowth, making it an ideal hiding place for wild boars. Our dogs continued to lead the search for wild boars. Georgie also gave me some tips on tracking wild boars by looking for footprints or broken branches. On the trail, we found traces of wild boars. Georgie said, "Just wait, they will appear." Sure enough, after only half an hour, the wild boars appeared. We immediately raised our guns and aimed. After a series of shots, the wild boar fell down. The dogs continuously detected wild boars and drove them into our ambush position. After accurate shots, the wild boars were destroyed. Although we killed many wild boars, we did not feel happy because this hunting trip was not a recreational hunting trip, but a control to prevent wild boars from destroying the farm. By about 4 p.m., it was getting dark. The group decided to head back. We counted the wild boars and realized how many there were.
wild boars, when their population grows uncontrollably, the boundary between nature and humans starts to blur. Devastated fields, ruined gardens, and even livestock no longer safe in their pens. In many areas, wild boars are no longer mere prey but have become invasive threats. That's exactly why we are here in these fields tonight. Hunting wild boars is not just a thrilling activity or an age-old tradition for seasoned hunters. It is a crucial measure for controlling their population. We set out at 10 p.m. The faint moonlight was barely enough to illuminate our path. Our team split into two groups, moving along the forest edge, where fresh traces of wild boars were still visible. Stopping near an open clearing, the rustling in the bushes signaled something approaching. As the thermal scope scanned the area, a herd of about 10 wild boars appeared. Without hesitation, the hunting rifles fired simultaneously. The first round hit its mark. 2 boars dropped instantly. 2 others attempted to flee, but couldn't escape their fate. About 30 minutes later, another group of wild boars emerged. Moving slowly, they were completely unaware of a lurking danger. We stealthily approached, and once in range, the signal was given. Gunfire shattered the silence. The boars panicked and scattered. Focusing on those that had strayed from the group, we seized the opportunity. After taking them down, we swiftly tracked the ones that had fled. With thermal imaging scopes, there was no hiding. Even the thickest bushes couldn't conceal them. A dangerous hunt, but this was only the beginning. We moved toward a rice field, an area where wild boars frequently scavenged for leftover grains. As the herd emerged, we had only seconds to react. Gunshots rang out. The first boar collapsed instantly. But there was no time to pause. The rest were bolting for safety. Dark silhouettes dashed through the scope. Another precise shot. One shot, one kill. Within moments, our prize lay motionless before us. Wild boars gathered here in large numbers, making it easy to locate them. From our hiding position, we aimed our rifles, waiting for the perfect moment. At the right time, we unleashed a hail of bullets, striking critical points with precision. The alpha boar fell, sending the rest into a frenzy. But before they could scatter, another round of fire ensured 3 to 4 more were taken down. We continued our ambush, taking down several more in swift, decisive attacks. This was undoubtedly one of the most exhilarating night hunts we had ever experienced. Minutes later, another wild boar herd appeared, cautiously moving closer. When they were in range, the team opened fire. 4 went down instantly, and though the others tried to escape, they were swiftly taken down as well. As the night deepened, more wild boars emerged. We fought relentlessly, determined not to let a single target escape. In less than a minute, 5 wild boars had fallen. By now, it was nearly 4 a.m., and the final encounter took place in an open field near a residential area. A large herd of wild boars was foraging. If left unchecked, the consequences could be disastrous. Wasting no time, We sprang into action, taking down our targets. The remaining boars realized the danger and scattered in panic. But in wild, survival favors the swift. One boar was struck down just as it tried to change direction. Finally, as the dust settled, the night returned to its eerie silence. We examined our haul. This had been a flawless hunt, swift, efficient, and incredibly successful.